Hello and welcome to the Mregamers Academy. I'm Monk7Mad and today we're going to be walking through our second part of our Photoshop tutorial, which is actually layers. In the next tutorial what we're going to be doing is looking at the selection tools to create things such as renders and just cutting parts out of pictures. Today though I thought layers was probably the most important thing because it's pretty much the main reason that Photoshop became so famous. Layers are basically like several pieces that you can put together to make one document. So one giant picture. I could make several copies of this Master Chief character here and display them around the page. I can add a background to it. I can do whatever because with the ability of layers you can combine pictures together. Now the way that layers work are when you add a new picture, if I was to now drag a picture onto the document, so it could be, I'll use a spacey scene. Okay, if I went and dragged, let's just say we use this one for the time being. Okay, I've got my picture, I'm dragging it, and you can drag photos into Photoshop like so, and the mouse will come up with a plus sign. Let go of the mouse. Oh, I hate it when it does that. Alright, let's do that again. Drag it to the top. So it makes a new document. Drag it down. Drag it across. Okay, so all I'm doing is basically opening a photo up in Photoshop. For some reason my Photoshop does play up a bit. Henceforth why I've had to slightly do it a different way. All you do is you drag a picture onto Photoshop. And now you can see we've got the spacey scene. But now we can't see our text or our character. Now, the way that Photoshop works is that with layers you can order them. So if I wanted to be able to see the character and the text, then I would think, is this picture here going behind both? And if yes, in the layers section you can click and drag them and move them beneath both layers. So now you can see that we can see both the text, the person, and now we can even see the background. And that was by simply just moving it around. Now if I wanted to change the colour of the background, if I was clicking on the person here and I wanted to colour in the background, if I'm on the wrong layer basically and I try colouring that in, it'll only colour in what's on that layer. So what it basically means is that if you want to edit something, you have to be on the right layer. So if I clicked on Halo, I'm now on the Halo layer. If I click on the picture of the Master Chief here, I've selected him and then the layer changes, so I'm on now layer 1. If I wanted to choose the spacey background, I could click here and it would select the spacey background. And by doing this you can change individual pieces in the page without having to change everything. So if I wanted to change, let's say I wanted to change the colour of the background here, but I didn't want to change the colour of the text or the person, what I would do is I'd select the background layer and I might go to Image, Adjustments, and then Hue and Saturation. Alright, and this basically is a colour tweak which would allow you to change the colour. So maybe you prefer the orange, and you could click OK, but now you've noticed that I've changed the background colour but I haven't changed anything to do with the person or the text. Now, if I wanted to change the person, I would have to click on the person. And hopefully that makes sense, and it's the same with rubbing things out, which we haven't actually got to yet, but hopefully you will understand that if you want to remove something with a rubber, then you have to be on the same layer as well. So at the moment I'm clicked on the Master Chief, so I can rub out parts of the Master Chief. If I was clicked on the background, but I wanted to rub out parts of the Master Chief, I'll end up rubbing out the background by mistake. So basically the way layers work is there are loads of different bits and pieces which you can have there, but you have to be selecting the one that you want to change. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go on to a bit of blend modes and stuff. Let's make it a little bit more exciting. Okay, so say I wanted to add some stars to the background. So you could go on Google and search for stars or meteorites or anything. Okay, if I just drag that into Photoshop and I just ignore what I'm doing here. Right. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, now at the same time this is now blocking off the text and the person like we did earlier. Now this time we're actually going to do something called a blend mode, and the blend mode is basically where you change, or Photoshop will change when you choose it, a certain property which will change how this looks. So at the moment it's a load of blue stars with a black background. Now if you wanted to remove the black background but just show the stars, if you click on the stars like this, then you go over to the layers. When you look up here, there's an option called normal, and there's a little arrow next to it. If you click on that arrow, you got a load of options pop up. So we've got normal, dissolve, darken, multiply, color burn, so on and so forth. Now there is an option called screen. If you click on screen, what it does is, without moving the layer behind the person, it's made it so that the black background's gone see-through basically. And now we can move that around anywhere, and everything in the background is still see-through. So we can still see all the characters, we can see the text, we can see everything that we specifically wanted to see, which is great. Now if we wanted to, let's say, make it so we could add in, I don't know, let's say something, let's try and blend the Master Chief into the background. Okay, sometimes when you click and the document fills up the whole page, you might go on the wrong layer. Now at the moment I'm trying to click on the character, but because this layer is in front of it, it's selecting this. So if you want to protect whatever it is you're doing, you could lock it by clicking on the layer, and above it there's a little padlock, and when you click on that, it basically means that you can't anymore choose the stars, but you can always unlock it to re-edit if you want to. Now I can click on the character. Alternatively, you just go on the layers, and without having this locked, you just click on the actual layer that you want to edit, and then you could click on the drop down arrow and go through to something like overlay, and now you can see that it's faded him into the background, and you can bounce through these and see whether any of these make it look better. Some of them will, some of them won't. Some of them are designed specifically for certain things. So for example, screen is designed to remove black backgrounds, or a black coloured bit of background, or it could be a part in the picture. Basically it's a preset designed to remove any darkness from the picture. However, multiply is the reverse. When you've got, say, a white page, and you've got, let's say you've got a plant pot in the middle of a page, and the background is all white. If you want to remove the white and just keep the plant pot, you change the blend mode to multiply. If none of the blend modes work, just change it back to normal, because that is its default. But by doing this, you can see that all the background that we had missing before is now there again. There are quite a few to choose from. Some, such as soft light, create a mix between the pictures. The two most common or most frequently used blend modes are overlay and soft light, for just general mixing pictures together. For removing dark stuff, again I've said screen. For removing white, it's multiply. So that's actually a pretty simple crash course in how to mix your blend modes, and you can always rearrange stuff. If I now put, let's say, the character on top of the stars, you can now see that there's no stars going over the top of the character, they're now all behind him. And I mean, it's pretty simple, and I hope that you can sort of use that to edit stuff. I know it's very basic, and I know it can be quite boring. What I'm going to ask is, if you don't actually need any of the basic stuff, to let me know in the comment section below, and it's probably really important that you do let me know, because I mean, I don't want to spend ages boring myself and you making very basic videos if it's not going to help. I'd rather do a little bit more advanced stuff that will help. So let me know in the comment section below. I hope that you've enjoyed the very basic on how to order layers, what layers are, and a little bit on blend modes. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've had an absolutely fantastic day. If you want to see how this will turn out in the end, how it'll look when I've finished with it after doing a little bit of speed up with it, check it out on my channel. I'll put the link in the description. Thank you for watching, guys. Have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, I'll see you guys later. Take care.